with Rob. Today, I'm going to talk about something fun and near and dear to my heart, with supplementation for training. You know, I've really relied on some pretty good supplements in my day to help me get in better shape whenever I was seriously disciplined about my training. I've always lifted and enjoyed that, but I go back and forth. I vacillate, if you want a nice word for it, on getting in shape, like really tight and ripped and all that blah, blah, blah. But one supplement that seems to be good for you, no matter which side of the coin you're on, whether you just want to get healthy and feel better, or you just want to get into good shape and maybe get better pumps in the gym, get bigger muscles, have better metabolism, is nitric oxide boosters. There are a million of these things on the market, people. Um, and all of them have pieces that are good and pieces that are bad, because no matter what supplements you take, guys, and this is one to grow on because I spent 20 some years in the supplement game. No matter what supplements you take, there's always some benefits and there's always some disadvantages to it, because they really can't put every single thing that works together in supplements, because sometimes they combat each other, sometimes they don't work as well in concert, sometimes the timing is off, yada, yada, yada. But I did find something interesting today. I tried something fun, and I'm going to share it with you. It wasn't the most delicious thing I've ever done, but it was pretty useful. I noticed a much better recovery from it, and I noticed a pretty decent pump in the gym as far as pumping up the muscles. And I actually got the idea from a guy named Jerry Branham. He used to write for quite a few of the muscle magazines and may still. I believe he has some medical background. He may actually be Dr. Jerry Branham. Um, but he was talking about some natural things you can use to accentuate your nitric oxide boosters and your pre-workout supplements. So here's the formula. You ready? Because everybody likes to get the secret nitty-gritty formula. Here's the formula. You need some caffeine in your pre-workout, unless you can't. But if you can, you need some caffeine, because it helps with the muscle contractions, it helps with focus and concentration, and it helps with the basic oomph of energy that you need when you are in the gym, putting in the heavy work, in particular in the weightlifting area when you're doing a lot of resistance training. Um, the dosages can be somewhat important, but that I'll leave up to you to research and decide. But you definitely need some caffeine in your pre-workout if you can take caffeine to help you with your muscle contractions, with your focus, your energy. Second ingredient that you need in a good pre-workout formula that some people are still torn on, even though there's 70 years of research on it, is creatine. Um, don't seem to think, based on my personal use, that the different types of creatine, as far as the actual workout, have different effects as far as efficacy. But creatine helps with muscle contractions. It helps with your strength levels. It actually helps to draw water into the muscle to help the muscle stay hydrated so that you can sustain contractions for longer. Also helps with anything that helps with fluid, will remove toxins or bring in nutrients too. So you have to keep that in mind. So you definitely want creatine in your supplement. Um, I'm a big believer in vitamin C. Uh, I don't believe in megadosing vitamin C, but I believe it needs to be present multiple times a day, whether as food source or as a supplement, because vitamin C helps to recycle some of the things that have to do with producing nitric oxide, and it also helps with things like reactive oxygen species. Again, you can research that one because that one's actually quite interesting. The other things that I noticed are really essential is you don't have to have a ton of arginine, because high amounts of arginine will actually cause more inflammation rather than less over the long haul as far as recovery. But it is not a bad idea to have a little bit of that in your supplement if you can stand it. There are some particular conditions where you cannot, and so therefore you have to be wary. But for regular folks, arginine is helpful. The one amino acid, though, that I think should be present in a nitric oxide supplement more even than arginine is citrulline. Citrulline has multiple effects, including helping to recycle arginine, in the body so that you can continue to have the nutrients present to produce nitric oxide for a more sustained period of time. Citrulline also helps with capacity for work as well as wound healing, just as arginine does. Because it helps to recycle arginine, it also helps to scavenge things like ammonia and other toxins from the body. And so that's something that rounds it off. Now, the secret ingredient to all this, because you can find a lot of those things in basically any pre-workout supplement, but the secret ingredient, the secret sauce, and this one is funny, but not. Beet juice. There's some polyphenols and things in beet juice that apparently help with the way you produce nitric oxide, sustaining your nitric oxide production, and helping all these other nutrients that I named work better to encourage your body to reduce inflammation as well as produce more nitric oxide. So I actually tried this today, and I had a little trouble finding just plain beet juice, so you may have to go to your actual health food store to get a plain beet juice, or you could possibly buy beet powder. I saw both things available in my neck of the woods. Uh, Beet juice I opted for because it was simple. It's already liquefied. I can use it to actually mix my pre-workout. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it was an interesting taste. It did, however, mask that medicine-y taste that a lot of the pre-workout supplements that don't have sugar have. And so that was a plus. But it definitely looks more beautiful than it tastes, because beet juice has a beautiful, beautiful wine red color. Again, high in antioxidants, so it's going to protect against free radical damage, and it helps with recovery. Added ingredient, this one you have to be a little careful with because the studies are a little bit conflicting, but in moderate amounts most people can tolerate it, which is sodium bicarbonate, plain old baking soda. Why? Because baking soda has been shown to buffer lactic acid in certain controlled studies. So this rounds out the formula in that you are helping to stimulate nitric oxide, you're providing nutrients to keep the muscle hydrated, and you're providing nutrients to increase the strength of contractions, as well as buffering lactic acid means that your recovery between sets is going to be a little bit better. I will get you actual ingredient dosages at a later date. For me today, the formula that I tried was about 150 milligrams of caffeine, so about a cup of coffee's worth. Creatine about 5 grams. The arginine was about 3 grams. Citrulline was about 1 gram. Honestly, I would have preferred to have more citrulline, less arginine. The beet juice, I used about 8 ounces of beet juice to mix this all in with about 1/4 of a teaspoon of sodium bicarbonate. What I found was the pumps were really good, and the lactic acid pain was lessened, and I had a little better recovery. So, homemade cocktail that you might want to try to see if it works for you. I'll continue with it and let you know. On the sodium bicarbonate, the baking soda, though, the caveat I want to say is not too much, guys, because sodium bicarbonate will actually cause, let's just say, diarrhea and flatulence at large amounts. So you just want enough in there, maybe 1/4 teaspoon to 1/2 teaspoon maybe, to buffer lactic acid during the short term. But this is not something that you would use every day. You would normally use this just for your workout times and no other. So, recap: caffeine, creatine, vitamin C, which consequently will be in the beet juice, arginine, citrulline, sodium bicarbonate, baking soda. Have this about a half an hour before you go in to do your work, and you might be surprised at the results. I certainly was. So, in the meantime, send me some feedback, send me some comments. Thanks for sharing my armchair. If you like it, subscribe. If you don't, hey, search engines are out there. You'll find what you need. So, I hope you have a blessed day, blessed evening, wherever and whenever you are. Oh, yeah. I also forgot to talk a little bit about the benefits of nitric oxide boosters outside of training. Blood pressure control helps with blood pressure control. Now, for that part of it, you don't necessarily have to have um, the caffeine and all those things. You'd be more concentrating on things like the arginine, the citrulline, the beet juice, the vitamin C, possibly the sodium bicarbonate. Um, Again, I'm not a big believer in taking the sodium bicarbonate in massive doses every day, although I know it has an alkalinizing effect, but we'll talk about that maybe some other day if I get some questions about it. But having a nitric oxide supplement as a regular part of your everyday regimen is going to open up blood vessels, which is going to help remove toxins better. It's going to shuttle nutrients into the body better for recovery for everyday things. It also helps to mitigate some of the effects associated with stress, hardening of the arteries, and of course, blood pressure. Nitric oxide production being stimulated a little higher also is going to help with things like hair, skin, and nails. It's going to help with wound healing. It's going to help with anything that the blood is tied to. So anytime you can increase circulation, it's going to enhance all the things that your body uses circulation for. So I just wanted to put that out there. Also, as far as inflammation goes, if you have better blood flow, you're going to whisk away a lot more of the irritants and toxins from your body, even when you do things like cleanses or when you do things like anti-inflammatories like glucosamine and such, the natural ones in particular. So I want to throw that little piece of stuff in there because I had promised to mention what it does for you outside of training. So quick recap again. You've got your training style nitric oxide booster homemade cocktail I told you about. Then you've got the everyday nitric oxide booster, which is going to consist of things like your vitamin C's, your beet juice, your arginine, citrulline, um, possibly some sodium bicarbonate. Other things you can use to enhance the nitric oxide effects would be things like anything alkaline, lemon juice, apple cider vinegar, and the like. So, just want to add that in. Send me some feedback, send me some comments, and thank you for sharing my armchair. And